3 reasons why your little boy can't sit still. He's running all over the place. You tell him to stop. You think he's being rude or disrespectful. You're pulling out your hair or you've lost your hair. This is a problem, but there are solutions. Our top 3 reasons for why your child cannot sit still, pay attention, and focus. Number 1, carbohydrate-rich diets. In other words, carbs. Number 2, yeast in the GI tract. That is the gut, the colon. Number 3, copper, a metal that can cause dysregulation. I'm Dr. Mensah with Mensah Medical. We specialize in natural healing with nutrient therapy. One of the first areas that you have to evaluate with regard to a child who has poor focus and attention or agitation, or who just can't sit still for any reason. Number 1, you already know, but I'm going to reemphasize it, diet, right? Is little Johnny eating carbs all day long? What happens when you have a high carbohydrate diet? First of all, your sugar levels just shoot right up. And you get that warm, great feeling of, yeah, I've got my energy, I'm feeling good. My pleasure centers are all sparkly in the brain. But here's the problem. After that high, what happens? You kind of come back down again. And that's because insulin levels rose after your glucose levels rose. When insulin rises, it grabs all that sugar and brings it into your cell structure, taking it away from your body's ability to use it. So now you kind of crashed again. So what happens? You kids want more carbs because they want that energy back. So you go through this vicious cycle where you have high glucose levels and then you got insulin. That brings you up and then it brings you back down again. That's not good. That can cause anxiety. That can cause agitation. That can cause poor focus in children. And that's just number 1. Number 2 kind of follows that. Yeast. We're not talking about yeast that have female issues here. We're talking about yeast with regard to what happens in the gut, the GI tract, the colon. Your kids have got over 20 feet of colon sitting there. But if they're lined with yeast, yeast can actually just thrive off of carbohydrates. They love carbs. In fact, they send a signal to your brain. The same area in your brain where we call them the mu receptors, where opioid drugs go. And it stimulates those same receptors. So your kids are getting a great high from carbohydrates because the yeast are actually creating that high. Yeast also create inflammatory agents that go into your system. And they cause inflammation, they can cause depression, they can cause erratic behavior. Now here's one for you. When yeast are present in some children, younger than age 7, what happens is that they can also cause bedwetting. So if your child suddenly has bedwetting, something we call enuresis, and you don't know what happened to it, they may have high levels of yeast in their GI tract. That's testable through a urine test. So now, what's important is that you've got to lower that, you've got to bring that back down. Another chemical reason now for poor focus and attention is high levels of copper. Copper is very important in the neurotransmitter process. It takes your wonderful neurotransmitter known as dopamine. But when you add a little bit of copper in there, it now goes to norepinephrine, which later becomes adrenaline. Adrenaline is your fight or flight neurotransmitter. It's there for when you're in danger, when you need to escape from the bear that's chasing you in the woods. You've got high levels of adrenaline, but guess what? If there's no bear and your kids are supposed to be focusing on their math homework and they can't sit still, then that's a problem. Or if they can't sit still in school, that's a problem. Copper levels by themselves can create poor focus and attention, and many people don't recognize that. So let's go back through our quick list here. Number 1, diet with regard to carbs. Number 2, yeast in the colon, testable with a simple urine test. Number 3, copper. That's a chemical test. Blood levels of copper can actually tell you whether or not your child is high or low, and that can be a major cause of poor focus, attention, agitation, or even symptoms that get later on diagnosed as ADHD. Listen, if you've got questions, feel free to contact us, Dr. Albert Mensah at Mensah Medical, mensahmedical.com. We'll be happy to respond to your questions.